Welcome to the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Sean Aylmer.
Morning, Michael.
And good morning, Adam Lang.
Good morning, Michael.
All right, quite the challenge today. In just 5 minutes, we're each going to put forward a big story about economics, about the economy from the last year. And at the end, we are going to decide who wins, who has the best story, that is. Let's get into it. Do you mind if I go first for this one?
Please do.
Please do.
Okay, well, for me, it is all about interest rates and what it actually means for all of us. So 2023 saw 5 interest rate rises. And when you consider that these came on top of 8 interest rate rises the previous year, they have hit households hard, very hard. The official cash rate now is 4.35%, though the standard variable rate that you'll get from kind of most banks has a 6 or a 7 in front of it. Now, a standard home loan, let's say $600,000, though that is probably a little bit low considering the cost of houses these days. Someone with a $600,000 loan would be paying an extra $2,100 in interest per month compared to 2 years ago. That's extraordinary. Now, all that extra money going to the bank is eating into cash buffers because Australian households had saved record amounts, right, during the pandemic, squirreling it all away. That is dwindling now and in many cases is gone. And so many rate rises, one after the other, has really hit consumer confidence as well. People aren't willing to spend as much as they were before, although the Black Friday and Cyber Monday sales were still probably a little bit of a standout. We've had a lot of people coming off ultra low fixed rate loans this year, finishing those terms, moving on to much higher variable rate loans. That was predicted to be a bit of a mortgage cliff. It wasn't quite that bad, but still very tough for those now searching for that extra cash to pay those higher interest rates. The flip side to all of this, of course, is those people with deposits in the bank. Think retirees, for instance. They are the big winners of rising interest rates because suddenly they're seeing a greater return on their money. But on the whole, plenty of households really struggling this year with the tail end of the fastest increases in interest rates in history. Adam.
Michael and Sean, in 2023, Australia's employment market was marked by significant transformation and growth. Post-pandemic recovery fueled robust demand in key sectors like technology, healthcare and renewable energy. Alongside massive infrastructure projects around the country, the technology industry in particular saw expansive growth via digital and green energy investments and a flourishing startup scene. Healthcare sector growth was driven by an ageing population and pandemic-driven demands, highlighting a need for more skilled professionals and better wages. The normalisation of remote and flexible work arrangements continued to influence workplace cultures. It also enhanced work-life balance and attracting diverse talent. Additionally, Australia's strong educational system and favourable immigration policies for skilled workers continue to contribute to a dynamic and forward-looking employment landscape, and that's reflecting our adaptability and resilience amongst a changing global economy. Sean.
I've got to say, Adam, I reckon you ended up getting books for Christmas because your use of adjectives this morning is absolutely astounding. I think you've been reading, like you got your Christmas books a few days ago, you've been reading them, and all of a sudden, dynamic, robust, like all sorts of adjectives that I'm just blown away by. I don't know how to follow that, but I'll try.
A little verbal flourish.
That's it. Look, my biggest economic story of the year was inflation. We started the year with rampant inflation. Oh, there's a good one. There's a good adjective. Rampant inflation. And we ended with high inflation. Australia experienced deflation in the June 2020 quarter. Keep that in mind. That's not that long ago. Since then, it has surged to peak late last year, close to 8%. That's a long way from the Reserve Bank's target of 2 to 3%. Since late last year, it has fallen back to 5.4% in the September quarter, and monthly readings since then suggest it is still falling. The reason for the drop in inflation this year is that most of the manufacturing and supply chain issues that came after reopening from COVID were fixed, or at least alleviated. That meant more goods could get into the economy. Think of new cars. This year, they've finally been available. In fact, 2023 looks like being the biggest year ever for car sales. We can get stuff back into the country. That has taken a lot of heat out of inflation. But economics is not the dismal science for no reason. Like all economic numbers, there's a downside in all of this, one that the Reserve Bank is worried about. Services inflation, think education, travel, haircuts, stuff like that. It's still way, way, way too high, mostly because services by nature need people and labour costs aren't coming down. They're still rising. So services inflation isn't coming down fast enough. Anyway, we finished 2023 with prices rising more slowly than where we started, and that's a good thing. I think it's fair to say that 2023 will be known as the turning point in the inflation cycle. There you go, Michael.
Oh, do I get to pick the winner?
Actually, I think I'll pick the winner because I think it is interest rates.
No pressure.
You can't pick your own, but I think rates, it was still a year of rates, wasn't it?
You can't pick your own, but
Come on, you know me. We've worked together for long enough. You should know that I would have no issue at all with choosing myself as a winner.
Okay, over to you. Who do you think won?
It was me. It was interest rates. Clearly, interest rates.
I agree.
All right.
Honourable mention to both inflation and employment because they were just such big issues all year.
Yeah, well said. All right, thank you, Sean.
Thanks, Michael.
And thank you, Adam.
Thank you, Michael.
That's it for today. Make sure you hit follow on the podcast. I'm Michael Thompson, and this is the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed.